Hey, good morning, afternoon, or evening, as the case may be. Thank you so much for tuning into my very first YouTube video. This is something I've been thinking about for many years, and I guess now's the time. So, the last couple of years, I've been more and more interested in teaching and training people how to understand and enjoy photography as a hobby and to increase and improve camera skills, lighting, understanding exposure, lighting, color. And so this YouTube channel is going to be devoted to those who are fresh, just learning, who's gotten their first camera and they'd like to learn more about it, how to use the basic functions. I'll also have some videos geared to the more intermediate user, uh, like lighting techniques, maybe how to use an off-camera flash, understanding on-camera flash, understanding different modifiers, and then we'll also have some videos geared more toward the prosumer, people who are trying to maybe make a living in it, understanding editing and how to create consistent color balance within the session. I've edited for uh, decades now, and I've been in the business of enhancing images uh, for 50 years, a very long time. And I want to share some of that knowledge with you. So my videos, my goal right now is to, for the YouTube videos, to have them in different levels. Level 1 will be beginner, level 2 will be intermediate, and level 3 will be more of a prosumer. I don't want to use the word professional because uh, even though I've been in the professional field for many years, I don't want people to think that I feel like I can teach seasoned professionals tricks. Maybe so, but anyway, I'm going to gear it more toward the prosumer, those that are aspiring to be professionals and make a living. So this first video will be a level 1, and I'll label it as such. And so that will be the pattern from here on out. Level 1 will be beginner, level 2 will be intermediate, level 3 will be prosumer. And so this first video, I'll be talking about shutter speeds. If you tuned into the Instagram, Facebook video, you've seen kind of a hint at this, and I'll go a little bit deeper here. And I may do a second part where I actually do some experiments in the field. But this will be just a beginning part. I'll try to keep it brief, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes at the very, very most. So feel free to reach out to me with feedback, compliments, or complaints. I can handle either. So do tell me what you'd like to see, what I can do better, improve. My goal is not necessarily to monetize this or make $1 million. It'd be nice, but I just mainly just want to teach people who are interested or frustrated with their photography how to improve, how to get the results you're looking for, and how to really enjoy it as a hobby and just be able to get a photograph that you can hang on your wall that you'd be very proud of. So stay tuned as we talk about shutter speeds. So let's take a look at the camera shutter. And this is a film camera that I no longer use, but if I ever had film usage again, I would use it. Let me open the back. There's no film in it, obviously. There's the shutter. It's a curtain. This one travels vertically this way. And for some reason, they will not allow me to activate the shutter with the back open. The older cameras, this was a later model SLR. And when you press the shutter button, the curtain would open. And so let's look at it from the front. There's the mirror. That's why it's called a reflex. It reflects light. It goes up to this ground glass, comes through here, and you see it, the image through this viewfinder. So let's take, that's the clicky here. Mirror goes up. So let's change the shutter speed to be slower. So this is a 20th of a second, 30th, 45th, 60th. Like I said in the other video, 1, 2, 3 clicks. 1, 2. Actually, no, this one's only 2 clicks makes 1 stop. 1, 2. Half stops. 1, 2. This is so let's go down to about 3 seconds, and you can see the shutter will open. So there is film would be exposed there. So that's the shutter speed. So let's take a look on a DSLR camera. So this is a Canon 70D. This is an older camera, but it works perfectly fine. So let's look at the dial here on the left. It's usually got, the dial is going to be obviously right or left. Sometimes you may go through the back, but it's the same idea. There's a way to control the shutter. M is for manual. B on this camera is for bulb, which is from the old school. The rubber bulb would trigger the shutter. So as long as you hold this down, let's see if I can take the lens cap off. It may. As long as you hold it down, the shutter's open. There may be a way, there's probably a way that you could time that. So obviously it was very overexposed. So that's what B stands for. And then C is custom. You would set the parameters inside the camera. SCN would be for scene. CA would be another custom mode. The little squiggly line here would be flash. The green mode is what I call the dummy zone. You put it on there, and no matter what you do, it'll take a picture. So it will work, and so it will determine what you need to do. So it sets everything for you. So if you have a camera and you're just not ready to learn the functions, put it on green mode, and it'll do anything. It'll work. P for program is similar, but you can change things like ISO and so forth, but it's still very easy. TV is time value. Time is essentially shutter speed. So what it does is you select the time, and it will determine what it needs to do for the aperture to make it work. AV is aperture. That's aperture value. You set the aperture, it determines the rest. So that would be when the focus area, the depth of field is more important. Manual is where I use it most of the time. And as you can see, you can change the shutter speed. You can change the f-stop. And we'll get into a little later on about metering, but that's just the mechanics of it. So let's look at now some images taken with different shutter speeds and show you the effects.
Let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of a camera. All types of cameras do basically the same thing. They have to have a dark chamber or a way of controlling the light, and they must have a way of recording the image. Film cameras had film, of course. Digital cameras have a chip. You can control the light in a couple of different ways. One is shutter speed, or the amount of time that the shutter remains open to expose the chip or the film to light. The other is f-stop, or aperture, and we'll get into that later. Here is another camera. This, I believe, is a Canon, maybe a Canon Rebel X7 or one of those Rebels. Anyway, you see they have multiple rings. This is an ADEP. I never use that. And if you're interested, I can explain it someday. Manual, of course, is just all manual. Aperture value, time value, program, automatic. This also has flash, custom, and this has some symbols here. This would be for portrait, so it would set it in such a way that it would do better portraits, landscapes, close-ups, action, evening shots, and then there's video. And in the back of the camera, you have a lot of different modes here with information that you can change, and we'll get into that down the road. So let's talk today about shutter speeds. What is a shutter speed? The shutter is a curtain, of course, that is a mechanical device that allows light to strike the film or the chip. The length of time the shutter is open is called the shutter speed, or the speed of the shutter. It can vary greatly. I have a camera that'll go to 1/8,000th of a second. Some go higher, to as long as 8 hours or more, just depending on what you're photographing, of course, with a tripod. So let's look at a different scenario with movement. Water is rather easy to see. We're used to seeing that. This is 1/250th of a second. If you'll notice, water is somewhat stopped, but is still elongated. This is slightly faster at 1/1250th of a second, and the water is pretty much still. Even faster is 1/4000th of a second. Here's a close-up showing that it's essentially droplets. And at a super fast shutter speed, you can stop that. So that would be stopping a very, very fast runner, or possibly a race car, something that is going super fast. Let's go the other direction. 1/30th of a second, you see the elongated water. And look at the car that's in the background. That's how far the car traveled in 1/30th of a second. It was probably going 40 or 45 miles an hour. The camera was on a tripod. It was stationary. This is 1/2 second. So somewhere between 1/30th and a half might be the degree of motion in the water you're looking for. It just depends on what you're after. This is longer, 2 seconds. And then 4 seconds. There's not a lot of difference between 2 and 4. But that gives you an idea of how the shutter speed can control the way the water looks. Starting at a 2/50th, 12/50th, 4,000th, super still. Then you go to blur, very blur, and almost milky. And I'll end with this illustration. This was 1/13th of a second. This is somewhat my favorite motion, because you can still see the water. It's still in motion. You see the movement, but it has motion, but it also sort of looks calm. This is a good one of my favorite shutter speeds. Around a 15th, this was a 13th, but somewhere in that neighborhood. So anyway, this will conclude lesson 1. So if you have your cameras, go out this week and practice different shutter speeds with motion. And next week will be part 2 of shutter speeds, and I will go into creative uses of shutter speeds. So have a great week, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks for listening.